Hi and welcome to the EdTech District. In this video, I want to show you how you can quickly analyze your assessment data, which is essential for planning future lessons and reporting progress to administrators and guardians. The best part is that you can do all of that without using scary pivot tables or formulas. Let's start by exporting the grades from Google Classroom. So we go to our Google Classroom, and you have to be on the student work page of any of your assignments. Then you click on the gear wheel icon in the top right-hand corner, and then you click on Copy All Grades to Google Sheets. This will open all the grades in one sheet in another tab, and it looks something like this. I've cleaned up mine. I've removed some blank spaces and blank rows that were in there, and I've also added some titles to columns A and B because they weren't there before, but you will see in a minute why this is important. Now we have all this data in one place, but it's really difficult to make sense of it all. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a heat map of scores. And I do that by selecting the range of cells that I want to analyze. Like in this case, it's all the grades of all my students. Then I go to Format, and then I go to Conditional Formatting. So the range is C4 to G23. That's the one that I selected. And I want to use a color scale. So I click on color scale, and I don't want to have green to white. I think in this case, I want to have green to red, with green being the highest and red being the lowest. So it's kind of like a traffic light where I can immediately see which students are falling behind and which ones are my top students. So the minimum value, I will change that to the minimum percent. The minimum would be 0. And I want to have the red color for the minimum. Then I change the midpoint again to percent. 50% is yellow. And the max point would be 100%, and that would be green right here. You can change it in any way you like. You can choose different colors. Instead of percent, you can change it to numbers or percentiles if you like, or minimum values, maximum values, whatever you need to do. But since I have everything out of 100, I prefer percentages. I'll just work with percent over here. So then I click on Done. And you can see that now I have a nice heat map. So everything that's dark green, those are the good scores or the higher scores. Everything that's towards the dark red side, like this one, 29, that's on the lower end of the scale. And then you have a couple of yellows. They are in the middle. So that's the first step to visualizing your data. And when you look at the data, you can see student number 12, for example, started off with a bright red, then moving to yellow, and now student number 12 in test number 3 is now in the green zone. So we hope that this trend continues. Just a heads up, the reason why I was able to quickly select the entire range and do the conditional formatting was because my assignments are all out of 100. So if the maximum score is the same for all the assignments, then you can do it right away in one go. However, if they're not the same, then you would have to work column by column. So you focus on column number 1 first, let's say column C, you select your data, then you do the conditional formatting, you move on to the next column, and repeat. Otherwise, the colors may not show up correctly. The next feature I wanted to show you is the Explore button, and you will find this button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, right here. And when you open it for the first time, it will probably ask you where your header row is, and I selected row number 1 as my header row, just so that Google Sheets knows where all my headers are. Then what this thing does now is it enables you to ask about your data by typing in your question over here. And then hopefully it will understand what you're asking for and give you that information. But before we do that, I wanted to show you by default, I haven't selected anything, as you can see. Just by opening the Explore button, it already displays some graphs. So there is a correlation or a scatter graph that shows the correlation between test number 1 and the average. Then we have test number 1, and this is a chart that shows how many marks or how many, what the scores of the students are. And we have a histogram of test number 1, where we can see that the majority of students got a score between 73 and 89. It also summarizes your data for you. For example, here it says ranges from 29, which is student 12, to 100, open classroom, right, because I haven't selected anything, with most values at the high end. The median is 75.5. So if we select the data that we actually want to analyze, let's say this one here, then it will change a little bit. So now open classroom is gone. I have only student 1 to student 20 in here. And the summary is now ranges from 29, student 12, to 93, student 8 and student 10. The median is still the same though. So just by clicking on the Explore button, I haven't done anything except I've selected the range of data that I wanted to analyze. Google already gave me 3 graphs to work with. Then it suggests a couple of things that I can ask. For example, I could ask for the histogram of test 2, or the median of test 1, or a correlation of average and quiz. So let's have a look at the histogram of test 2. That would be column E right here. So when I click on histogram of test 2, then you can see that most kids have a score between 73 to 84, and 5 of them have 84 to 95. But there is one that has a score between 40 and 51. So again, I didn't do anything yet. I just accepted what was suggested to me. Now the next thing I can do, something that I find really helpful, is I can ask for the top 5 students by, let's say, quiz, like in this case. So if I type in top 5 students by quiz, it will tell me by looking at column D, where the quiz scores are. Student number 5 has the highest score, 93. Student 7 also has 93. Student 14 has 91, and so on. If I want to focus on the weakest students, I can change that to bottom 5 students by quiz. And now it shows me the bottom 5 students by quiz. So student 12 with the lowest score, and then student 1, and so on. Then I can also do the average. So let's say bottom 5 students by average. And there you have it. So student 12 is right now my weakest student in the class, because this student has an average score of 53. Let's see who the top 5 students are. Top 5 students by average. Student 5, student 18, student 7, and so on. So I haven't used any formula. I haven't used any pivot table. Just by asking questions, I can get the answers to those. The last tool I wanted to show you today is the sparklines. Now, sparklines are miniature charts within a single cell. I'll show you how they look. So, for example, you want to add a tiny little chart over here next to student 1's progress. I would start off by typing the equal sign. And I know some of you are going to say, well, now you start typing a formula and you told us there's not going to be any scary formula. And that's true, but don't worry, this one is not going to be scary, because as you can see, I just type in SP, maybe even SPA, and there's my sparkline. I click on this, and then I select the range of data that I want to analyze. Like in this case, it's this row because it's just for student number 1. I close the bracket, and then by default, Google Sheets will add a line chart. And I can click on the corner over here, drag it all the way down, so that all the students get a tiny little sparkline. And now I can see the students' progress at a glance. Without looking at the numbers, you can see that who's this? Student number 17 started off really strong, and then somehow couldn't keep it up. Whereas student number 12 started off really low and then showed some tremendous progress. So these sparklines come in really handy when you talk to guardians or you talk to admin about the progress, because all they have to do is look at the sparkline and see immediately what's going on. That's all for now. I hope you found these tips helpful, and see you next time.